Hey, what's up, Beardbrand fam? Bob the Barber here, and the one and only Austin.
How do you forget where you're from?
I was just say I was just say Beardbrand Barbershop, but I put Austin before it. Hey, man, you know what? I'm dyslexic, and y'all are being real dicks right now. Hey, what's up, Beardbrand fam? Bob the Barber here, and I've got my boy Brent in the house, the one and only Beardbrand Barbershop in Austin, Texas, and it's been a little while. We got to get him back on track. I just called you B-Rent. Yeah, B-Rad. It's because whenever there's like a B-Rad or B-Rent, his name is Brent.
So 1990s.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So, Brent.
Yes, sir.
It's been a minute.
What are we at?
It grew up really nicely. It's wintertime, it's starting to cool off. Do you want to maintain any of this length, or are we taking you back down to?
Maintain a little bit on the top, maybe.
Okay.
But yeah, definitely short on the sides and.
Now, how short are we talking?
Pretty short, like short as usual, like we always
As
do.
usual,
like,
the usual. So I'm just gonna dig in, man. I think I want to take up a lot of this bulk.
Yeah.
I just got a 1.5 crank all the way open, a 2, and I just want to reveal some of the goodness down underneath all this bulk. Looks like you were side parting it, or is that happening naturally?
Just kind of happens naturally.
Do you want to have more of a sweep, or do you want to actually keep that in there? What you feeling?
We can do more of the sweep because it'll eventually turn back into.
Yeah, I can see how much, since it's been so long that you let it grow out, like all
Yeah.
this bulk is hanging out. So yeah, that's I wanted to see how you're feeling about that.
Yeah, we can start with more of a sweep because then it'll just transition into the side part when it gets longer. Yeah, and I didn't really do anything with my hair or beard in the last 2.5 months other than trim the sides of the beard up a little bit.
That is what I'm actually looking forward to. Your haircut is pretty classic.
Yeah.
You know, we've been doing it for a while. You know, a little bit shorter, a little bit longer. But this beard is pretty magnificent, man. What are the plans for that guy?
Just trim it up, make it look clean.
Are you shaping it that way intentionally?
Yeah.
It's more of a kind of a Viking situation. Are we taking off a decent amount of length today, or are we just kind of like maintaining?
Just a touch.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
I kind of like it where it's at right now. I would just have like short facial hair all the time, and then I shaved it off once, and the girl I was dating was like, "No," like she's like, "You need facial hair." I didn't. Yeah, she's my baby mama now, but she was like, "No," she's like, "You need some sort of facial hair," and so I started growing it out, and then over the years I just would get it a little longer, and I never thought I'd be able to do the mustache, but like since we started growing it out,
I hate saying weak, but it was a pretty thin mustache.
Yeah, because I would keep it super short, because I would just trim it all the time, because I hated when any hair would like.
Yeah, because it would.
But now now it's long enough, I can just kind of push it to the sides.
Sometimes you got to get over that hump, and you won't know it until you let it grow. So. I'm keeping the blend a little lower right now. I want to get everything tucked away from this like mid fade, because I'm going to cut his hair on top next, and I'm a little concerned for this section of his hair. It's always as it gets shorter, it starts to sprout. So I want to make sure that I blend it in really and really finesse it, so I don't just chop it off and it just sprouts immediately.
I don't have the patience for regular fishing.
Yeah, just catfishing. Unless I'm trying to stick my hand in there and just like,
there you go,
what is it called? Like
fly fishing helps my ADD.
Noodling.
Noodling, yeah.
Noodling, yeah. I'm gonna go grab a catfish. I'm not gonna go fishing today.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm gonna punch a catfish.
With fly fishing, like you're always doing something, so my ADD doesn't kick in. And
it's like I'm over this shit.
It's like when I'm regular fishing, I just sit there with a beer and I just never reel in my rod, and I'm like, oh, I just didn't catch anything today.
Have you ever rocked a slick back? Mm-mm. Yeah, you probably shouldn't. Probably a good idea. I'm digging the wave that's like starting to show. So you got like 4 1/4 up in the front, like 4 1/2. In 2 months, so you've probably grown an inch and change. I'm gonna go and take off that inch and change, just to bring it down to 3. So 3 inches is still plenty to work with. It still has enough weight to bring it down. So we're gonna be looking at like all of that and taking off all of this. So that's
I mean, that's still longer than I had been in previous.
Exactly. So it's still going to be manageable, but at the same time longer than typical.
Yeah, I'm down.
So we'll make the front the hero with that 3 inches, and then we'll start to tuck some of this stuff back in the rear. A little more aggressive.
I got a huge head, dude. It's fat and it's tall.
It's like a,
That's the thing that sucks is like I'll get a hat and it'll only come down to like here. And I'm like, all right, I can't wear that one.
oh man.
You gotta have room for that big brain, Bob.
That's what it is. Digging the length up top, I'm gonna add a little texture, lighten it up so that even though he's got some length, it's not gonna feel as heavy. And then now we can start addressing some of the, now that I can see where this long front section is gonna land, I can start tucking this away a little bit more aggressively. We're gonna do a sweeping part situation, so coming it forward, seeing where that natural separation is, get some of that out of the way, and then we're just gonna mow this down without abandon. Yeah, it's a compromise. Sometimes, like us as barbers, we want the clients to have like this like super rad situation, but it's something that their jobs or their lifestyle just doesn't allow. So finding that compromise where you can get like a really good look, because his hair, when he first started coming to me, he was rocking a different hairstyle.
Yeah.
It was similar to this, but it was very different. Even having this much length is like,
It's wild. Like,
yeah. And I think it was more just like a comfort thing on your part where you're like, hey, you know what? I can rock a little bit more length.
Like
and
it's
weight.
been a gradual thing over years just to get it to like this length. Because I would keep it super short.
I took off 2.5 months worth of growth, but this, from his head to about 1.5 inches is the newest growth. Like this is brand new hair, so it's the most stubborn, it's the most rigid. So by hitting it with this razor, with that good old Roffler technique, what I'm doing is I'm beating up the hair to a point where I'm not taking off a bunch of bulk or a lot of length, is just softening it up, speeding up the process of it being naturally kind of eroded by shampooing and combing and sleeping on it. Since it's, like I said, the newest hair on his head, it'll lay down a little easier. It'll play ball a little quicker, and then as it grows out, it's already gonna be in check. You know, it's such fine hair. We're taking it down so much. There's not a lot of texture in it anymore. So I'm gonna get nice and aggressive since we got some good length up here, and I'm gonna just cut out some 45-degree little chunks. Come the hair straight forward and just put my shear underneath just ever so slightly. It smells rich mahogany.
Ooh, yeah.
So, just to lock in some of that texture and whatnot, and just small little amount of styling products. I mean, that's kind of it. It's like literally, what's nice and jealous-inducing of your hair is jealousy-inducing is that your hair is just like so fine that it just takes the smallest amount of anything to get this like crazy volume. You got the hat hair, little mark in the back.
Yep.
You can see how the hair just kind of like, and no matter what I do, it's just smash in there. Word to the wise. Leave your hair natural that day. It's better for your haircut.
I know I should have, but
I know you're working, man.
yeah.
What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hit all the edges, and I'm gonna lay it back. We're gonna soften this up and get it nice and relaxed, and then we're gonna trim it after some of that love.
Sounds good, man. Yeah, I guess it was about a month ago. I was just like, I'm so done. I was having so many issues with the beard, and then all of a sudden it just settled down for like the last month. I've been like, oh yeah, it's rocking right now.
I'm gonna go ahead and use some of our Old Money beard softener. I'm just like softening up the beard right now.
Yeah, that stuff smells fantastic.
Yeah, and it's that, like I said, our most popular fragrance, Old Money. It's a little bit of leather, some mahogany.
It's very Anchor Man.
Exactly, literally. If you want to know what Ron Jeremy.
Wow.
If you want to know what Ron Jeremy's car smells like, Ron Burgundy. If you want to know what Ron Burgundy's apartments and his home smell like, it's Old Money, man.
I feel like it's like watching boiling water. If you like watch it, it's not,
Because his beard is long enough and his neckline is also high enough, we're just gonna clean up the very bottom of it. We're not gonna work it up too high.
A little bit off, not too much, but anyone else. My mom had,
What I'm trying to assess is like how much I would like to take off that would still maintain quite a bit of the length, but also keep it in the most thick and like healthy. So I'll comb it through and see where those hairs start to fall through the comb, and just whatever's left over, that's what I'm taking off. Not trying to dig in too much, especially when we're trying to maintain some of the length, some of the density. Now I want to smooth out some of this, get this a little closer to his cheeks, give it some a little more structure. I'm trying to keep the clipper as high up the cheek as possible. If I come back away from from way down here, it's going to take up a lot of bulk, and that's not what I'm looking for. I just want to clean up this perimeter on the hairline. So same thing with his mustache, his beautiful mustache. I want to just look for where this more dense hair kind of falls through, and then just trim off those last little guys, those little stragglers. So just kind of follow the shape of his mouth, that angle. These guys right here. So what I'm looking for is I'm looking over the mustache, through the mustache, and if these hairs are still sticking up after we've massaged them with heat and water and a blow dryer, and if they're still sticking up, they gotta go. They can try again next time. So now go get some of their delicious Old Money beard balm. And then I'm really happy with all the stragglers have been taken away. Give it some shape. Work this stuff in from underneath. Get down to that skin. And then we'll just drag the rest out. We had him under the towel, his hair got wet again, and one of the things that I was noticing when I first started styling his hair is that this little section right here where it's got the most length was just flopping over really easily, almost too easily. So I'm just taking out a little bit more bulk underneath, it's a little more further into the hair shaft, so that it still keeps a lot of that length, but I like it to be, if he just does this, I don't want one section to like have too much lift and the other one just like fall flat. And it was doing that just because again, his texture's a little lighter. The length is going to compete with that. So I got to do a couple extra little tweaks just to get that balance. Already threw in some balm in there. We had some softener, and just to really get that locked in look, I just tossed in a small amount of our styling balm. Same fragrance, that Old Money.
So the balm is much more for the actual hair.
Correct.
The oil is more for the skin. Okay.
Exactly. The oil is very liquidy, so it penetrates really quickly. It evaporates though, so you would have to maybe like catch up a little bit more with the application on the hair.
Yeah.
You've got almost a year worth of length, so having a balm is a little thicker, it's got some wax to it, so it's gonna hold onto the hair a little bit longer, so it gives it an infusion of moisture throughout the day as opposed to just giving it a quick hit and then evaporating. So combination of the both is perfect, but if you were only gonna use one for this particular beard, I'd go with the balm. Just because it's gonna...
Good to know.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm Mark. I think that Beardbrand products and the Beardbrand mission, they've really helped me kind of wear my beard and present it to the world in a way that, honestly, for the first time in my life, like, kind of makes me feel kind of handsome. You know, sometimes. But anyway, thanks, guys.